of. First is that we're a quasi-judicial board, and our decisions are based on facts as they are presented this evening. Your opinions, your feelings don't really come into play as to the ultimate decisions that is made. Oh, we do have somebody there. Secondly, at the start of every meeting, we do ask our participants that come in front of us to dress appropriately, and just a friendly reminder that we should be doing the same. And lastly, of late, we seem to be defaulting to $25 a day for everything. And I can't tell you and don't want to tell you, I'm not going to tell you what the fine should be, but I would just ask that you guys put some real thought into what they fine ought to be, depending on the seriousness of the violation. And, somebody parking on the front lawn one time isn't the same as somebody having a dirty pool. So just keep those kind of things in mind when you're adjudicating the cases this evening. With that, we'll go ahead and get started. So looks like we may be taking some. Let's see if we're taking this out of order. I knew it was too good to be true. Okay, yeah. Oh, okay.
Another one ain't gonna blast.
All right, the other thing, before we get started, I want to recognize we have a gentleman from Croatia in the audience tonight who is a law student in Croatia and is here to see how the wheels turn at our meeting. So welcome and thanks for joining us. Okay, so the July 13, 2022 meeting of the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is now called to order. If everybody would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I guess, do you still need to swear folks in?
I don't.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
the code
All right,
office.
let's wait for Tom. He's out there explaining something to somebody. While we're doing that, we'll do the ex parte communications. This time, I'd like to ask the board members if they've had any ex parte communications regarding any matters coming before the Code Enforcement Board this evening. Actually, you know what? Let me back up. I have to do the introduction. We didn't have anybody in the audience. I got thrown off my game. Ladies and gentlemen, the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is charged with conducting hearings to determine whether an alleged violation of the city code has occurred. Decisions made by this quasi-judicial board will be based on the evidence and facts presented this evening. Our meetings are conducted in accordance with Robert's Rule of Order, and each case will begin with the city presenting its evidence of the alleged violation. The respondent will then present his or her case. Both parties will have an opportunity to cross-examine all witnesses. The board members may question any witness. Comments by both parties must be relevant to the case. Persons wishing to speak will be given the opportunity to do so by the chairman and must address the board from the podium after giving their name and address. Upon request, copies of materials submitted by staff are available for review. Board members are reminded to obtain permission to speak from the chair, and questions of the city should be directed to the attorney for the city. At this time, I'd like to ask all persons who expect to give testimony tonight to stand and be sworn in by the city clerk.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony or evidence you're about to give or present is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you. And if you would make a note in the meeting minutes that tonight we are going in the exact order of the agenda, which is the first time that's ever happened since I've been chair. Okay, this time I'd like to see if members have had any ex parte communications regarding any matters coming before the Code Enforcement Board this evening. If you've had verbal communications, please disclose the sum and substance of the communications, when and where the communications occurred, and with whom it occurred. If you received any written communications, please disclose the nature of the communications and provide it to the city clerk for it to be filed in the record. Starting down here.
No. I had none.
Done?
Had none.
I've had none.
I've had none.
Okay, thank you. Kristen, did you happen to hear if Rod left for Jordan, or he's just not here, or?
He had emailed me to let me know that he would be here.
That's what I thought, but he's not. So maybe, I know he was on July 4th, he was sitting in his doorway waiting to go to Jordan, and they told him that they canceled. It wasn't his flight, the main flight, but it was connection flight, so that maybe they got that worked out. Maybe he ended up going to Jordan. So We'll hope that's what it is and not something else. Okay. Approval of the minutes. Minutes of the regular meeting held June 8, 2022. Have all board members received a copy of the minutes of June 8, 2022?
Yes.
If the minutes are acceptable, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. Appreciate the enthusiasm, but we already had one.
Maybe I need a hearing aid.
All right, our first hearing in order is case number 216388.
Case number 216388, City versus Justin G. and Anastasia Wood for the property located at 6223 Soaring Avenue. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 8, 102.13H, windows and exterior doors maintained in good repair. Section 12.900, pool safety barrier. That violation was pulled. And then this case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Lori Smith. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were both properly served.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members. Lori Smith, Code Compliance. This case originated proactively on November the 16th, 2022. My inspection revealed the front window in disrepair. At that time, I left a door hanger with the compliance date of the 17th of December, 2022. My inspection on January 17th, 2022 revealed no change. Therefore, a notice of violation was prepared with a compliance date of the 28th of February, 2022. No one was at home, so I posted a notice letter at the front door and requested copies be mailed certified and first-class mail to the owner of record. I also requested copies be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violations taken by me on the 2nd of February and June 21st, 2022.
We'll accept that, thank you. And just as a point of clarification, you had mentioned that this originated November 16th, 2022. I'm sure you meant 21.
Yes, sir, I'm sorry, that was my
No
mistake.
problem.
November 16th, 2021.
We'll accept it, thank you.
As of today's date, the site is now in compliance, and at this time, I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance. I'm just looking for a finding.
Very good, we'll accept that, thank you. Any questions for the code officer?
So just for the record, the violation on the pools that's pulled, so that when we read, we don't need to include that in the
No,
finding.
sir, you don't. That is in compliance.
Okay.
It's been pulled.
So the only violation is the 8-102 subsection 13 subsection H.
Yes, sir.
If there's no questions, I would entertain a motion.
I'll do this one.
Thank you.
In case number 216388, I move the city is proven by a greater weight of the evidence of the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code did exist on the property located at 6223 Soaring Avenue, and the code section 8-102, subsection 13, subsection H. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from Code Enforcement Officer, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
A second.
Motion is second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. Next case, please.
Next case, case number 220319, City versus Carolina de Lien for the property located at 7717 Willow Park Drive. Case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 8-102-13C, roofs maintained in good repair. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Jose Silva. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were both properly served.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, board members, Jose Silva, Code Compliance Officer. This case originated proactively on January 19, 2022. My inspection noted a blue tarp on the damaged roof of the residence being used to prevent moisture from entering the residence. At this time, I opened the case and monitored the location. On February 15, 2022, I noted no change so I left the door hanger with a compliance date of March 11th, 2022. My inspection on March 17th, 2022 noted a new tarp on the roof of the residence. I re-inspected the residence again on April 26th, 2022, noting no change, so a notice of violation was completed with a compliance date of May 23rd, 2022. Posted notice at the home as well as City Hall. Also mailed copies, both certified and regular mail, to the address of the registered owner. On May 18, 2022, I was contacted by the insurance claim adjuster requesting additional time. Additional time was granted until June 15, 2022. On June 15, 2022, I inspected the residence again and noted the tarp still on the roof. This time I'd like to submit 2 photographs, the notice posted at the front door and the tarp on the roof. And also the residence is in compliance. At this time, I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance.
Good, thank you, we'll accept those. Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
All right, I'll take this one. And you did say it was in compliance, right?
Yes, sir. Just asking for a finding.
Okay. Case number 22-0319. I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace City Code did exist at the property located at 7717 Willow Park Drive. Code violation section 8-102-13-C. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from Code Enforcement Officer Jose Silva, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. Next case, please.
Case number 22-1432, City versus Saknaren and Chinjit Juklam for the property located at 5112 East 122nd Street. Case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 828A1 permits application required. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Lori Smith. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing are both properly served.
Thank you.
Good evening again, Mr. Chairman, board members. Lori Smith, Code Compliance. This case originated proactively on March the 17th, 2022. My inspection revealed installation of wood fencing on the front, east, and west side of the property without a permit. At that time, I left a door hanger with the compliance date of the 29th of March, 2022. My inspection on March 30th, 2022 revealed no change. Therefore, a notice of violation was prepared with a compliance date of April the 8th, 2022. Affidavit of service was obtained by hand delivery to the homeowner, Saknaren Juklam. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violations taken by myself on March 29th, 2022, and also a screenshot of the stop work order in Central Square.
We'll accept that, thank you.
Exhibit number 1 shows the front fence repairs without a permit. Exhibit number 2 shows the stop work order in Central Square. Mr. Chairman, as of today's date, the site remains out of compliance, and I am seeking a ruling.
Thank you. Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
Well, have they asked or like said anything about if they were willing to change it, or
If they're what now?
if they're willing to change it, like to like get the permits or anything?
There has been no communication. As far as I spoke with the homeowners about the permit, let them know the process, the number to get a hold of community development to obtain it. There hasn't even been an application that has been submitted as of today's date.
Any other questions?
You're welcome.
If there's none, I'll entertain a motion.
Yeah. Well, I'll do it.
Thank you.
All right. Case number 22-1432. I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence following the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exists on the property located at 5112 East 122nd Avenue, according in violation of Code Section 8-28A1. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has just received from the Code Enforcement Officer Laurie Smith, along with other evidence such as the photos she showed us, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that said violations be corrected on or before our next meeting, which would be August the, I don't have that date,
August 10th.
huh?
10th.
August the 10th of 2022. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continues past the date set for compliance. Upon the following factors, the gravity of the violation and actions taken by the violator and any previous violations, I move that the fine be $25 per day.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Motion carries. Next case, please.
Next case, case number 221672, City versus Alvira L. Machado for the property located at 12609 North 52nd Street. Case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 12921 parking residential property. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Lori Smith. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing are both properly served.
Good evening again, Mr. Chairman, board members. Lori Smith, Code Compliance. This case originated from a citizen complaint on March 31st, 2022. My inspection revealed a vehicle parked on the front yard grass. At that time, I left a door hanger with the compliance date of the 1st of April, 2022. My inspection on April the 2nd, 2022 revealed no change. Therefore, notice of violation was prepared with a compliance date of the 5th of April, 2022. No one was at home, so I posted the notice letter at the front door and requested copies be sent certified and first-class mail to the owner of record. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violations taken by Director Baroni and myself, April the 5th, April the 11th, May 12th, May 31st, and June 15th, 2022.
We'll accept that. Thank you.
Exhibit number 1 shows the notice letter posted at the front door. Exhibit number 2 through 6 shows the vehicles parked on the front yard grass. As of today's date, the site is now in compliance, and at this time, I would like to submit an affidavit of compliance, and I'm just looking for a finding.
Very good. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll do it.
Thank you.
Okay. Where am I? In case number 22-1672, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence, the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code did exist on the property located at 12609 North 52nd Street. Violation is section 12-921. The motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought to compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No nays. Motion carries. Next case, please.
Case number 222055, City versus Rebecca Marina for the property located at 406 Dunedin Avenue. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 10.3B, sanitation grass weeds. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Jose Silva. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing are both properly served.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members again. Jose Silva, Code Compliance Officer. This case was originated proactively April 19, 2022. During my inspection, I noted the front yard grass of the residence to be overgrown. This time, I left a door hanger with a compliance date of April 22nd, 2022. On April 28, 2022, I re-inspected the residence and noted no change. completed notice of violation with a compliance date of May 2nd, 2022. I posted notice at the home as well as City Hall. I mailed copies, both certified and regular mail, to the address of the registered owner. I also emailed the NOV to the owner. During my inspection on May 9, 2022, found the yard grass cut at this time. Case was brought into compliance and closed. On June 21st, 2022, I noted the yard grass of the residence to be overgrown again. Since it was within 45 days and the violation reoccurred, it was set for the July MCEB. This time, I'd like to submit photographic evidence of the violations. Exhibit number 1 is notice posted at the door. Exhibit number 2 is the overgrown grass on June 21st.
We'll accept that, thank you.
As of this date, it's still out of compliance. I'm seeking a ruling.
Any questions for the code officer?
I was just curious, I noticed it's a woman who is the owner. If you had any contact with her, is there any reason why they wouldn't be able to get the grass mowed?
She's the owner. It's a rental.
Oh, rental, okay.
It's a rental. That's why it was emailed to the owner.
Okay,
The tenant did call today, said he was planning on being here tonight, but he had COVID. When I checked the address this afternoon, it was still overgrown.
okay, gotcha.
Very good, thank you. So the fact that that's how you got the email address was because it's in the rental program?
Is it? Yes.
Interesting.
Anything that's in the rental housing program, we send the NOV by email to the owner.
Very good. Any other questions for the code officer?
Who, just out of, not necessarily for the code officer, but who pays the fine, the owner or the
The
resident?
owner, yes,
Owner pays
yeah.
it, yep.
Well, if the owner wants to get the
Right,
that.
got it.
They can
We
tack it on
find,
the rent,
the
I guess, if they
Sure,
want.
the city finds the property
Find the
owner.
owner.
Yeah, they're responsible.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. Thank you.
In case number 222055, I move that the city has proven by greater weight of the evidence that the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace Code exists on the property located at 406 Dunedin Avenue, applicable code section 10-3, subsection B. This motion is based on a sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with other evidence, including photos, affidavit, and notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record for this hearing. I further move that said violation be corrected on or before August 10 of 2022. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continue past the date set for compliance. Upon considering the following factors: the gravity of the violation, any action taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violation committed by the violator, I move that the fine be $25 per day.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
A second.
Motion and a second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. Next case, please.
Case number 222099, City versus Sunrays Corporation for the property located at 9228 North 56th Street. Case is before the board based on the alleged violation of Section 10.3B, sanitation grass weeds, Section 81661C, minimum standards, commercial roofs, minimum standards, commercial landscaping maintenance, Section 8166AA, minimum standards, commercial sanitation, public area, and 816613C, roofs maintained. The city has evidence. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were both properly served.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case was originated by me on April 20th, 2022 for overgrown conditions, stained Spanish tile roof, palm tree needing to be trimmed, tree debris left in the dumpster enclosure area, and damaged soffit. I left several door hangers with a reinspection date of May 7th, 2022. My reinspection on May 7th showed no change, so a notice of violation was generated on that date with a reinspection date of May 30th. I posted the notice at the site as well as at City Hall for the 10-day requirement, and copies were mailed, both certified and regular mail, to the address of the owner of record. The Property owner did contact me and ask for an extension of 14 days, which I granted. My reinspection on June 16th showed no change, so I prepared a notice of hearing on that date, and the case was scheduled for the July Municipal Code Board meeting. This time, I'd like to submit photographic evidence taken by myself on May 7th and June 16th.
I'll accept that, thank you.
Exhibit number 1 shows the notice of violation posting. Exhibits number 2 and 3 show the damaged soffit. Exhibits 4 and 7 show the stained Spanish tile roof. Exhibit 5 shows the tree debris in the dumpster enclosure. Exhibit 6 shows the overgrown conditions. And Exhibit 8 shows the palm tree needing to be trimmed. This time, 3 of the 4 violations are in compliance, and the only one that is not in compliance is the roofs 8-102-13C. As the site is not in full compliance, I'm seeking a ruling, and I have an affidavit of compliance for the other 3 violations.
So just 13C is the only one that's not in compliance.
Correct.
Okay. Just a curiosity question for me, that, shouldn't that dumpster enclosure have a dumpster?
One would think. It's the old varsity cleaner site, and it's a vacant site.
Oh, it's vacant, okay,
Tenant
okay.
currently.
Okay, so they're not in operation, so there's no need for a dumpster, okay. But 8-166-13C is the only one that's out of compliance.
102-13C.
I'm sorry, 102-13.
Wait, one of,
There is no.
There is no 102.
Oh,
So it's either 8-166-1C or 13C.
Unless it's not on our
I
list.
think it's,
Let's just flip a coin.
Unless,
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 13C.
13C is the roofs.
unless there's a typo.
That's the one that's still out of compliance.
13C?
13C, yeah.
And is it 8-166 or is it 8-160? Okay, 8-166-13C is still out of compliance.
Correct.
Very good. Okay, glad we cleared that up. Any other questions for the code officer?
Have you had any communication with the owner since regarding the roof? Have they said anything that they're gonna get it done, that,
Yeah, no, she had called and asked for an extension, which I granted.
right, but
And I
since
sent
then?
her photos earlier this week of what was left, the soffit damage. So she said she would get it addressed. She's a out-of-state owner.
So
Go ahead.
what needs to be done on the roof?
Well, the soffit's damaged. That's the only thing that's left now is the soffit damage. 2 different areas of the soffit's damaged.
Okay.
That falls under the roof because it's roof and accessories that would go to the roof.
I think that was my question. These 2 pictures, is that right?
Yes, sir.
That's what's left.
Yeah,
That's what's left.
yeah, thank you.
So, just so you know, fascia boards and soffits go on the roofs.
Okay,
Gutters.
all right.
Accessories, they're part of the whole roof structure, so.
And just a follow-up, there is no safety issue with that, is there?
Doesn't appear to be, no, sir.
One second. I think what everybody's looking at is the agenda that accident, I think says 8-166.
13C.
C,
Yep.
and, the notice of violation is correct, but it's 8-10.
102.
Okay,
So it
I'm
is,
just verifying real quick.
all right, so let's check all of them. Is the grass and weeds, is it 8-166-1C? I know it's in compliance, but is that correct? I want to make sure the record's right.
8-166-1C is the minimum standards commercial roofs.
So that one's correct. 8-166-8A, is that one correct?
Oh, I'm sorry, are you talking to me or,
Either-
Whoever wants to answer the question.
Well, it's 7A and 8A.
I have it
The
right here.
8102, is that
Hang
for
on, just
residential?
hang on, guys, one at a time.
Is that for the landscape maintenance?
That is minimum standards, commercial sanitation, public area.
That's, look in the middle of the page, that's what we're talking about.
Just want to make sure that the record is right.
Yeah, no,
The
according,
166-8A,
Yes,
that is on the notice of violation, yes.
that's correct. So the
Yep.
only one that's incorrect is the 8- what, is shown on my piece of paper as 16613C. That should be 10613C.
102.
102.
102.
102.
13C.
13C, and that is the only one that's currently in violation. All right, we got that straightened out. Okay, any other questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
All right, I'll take it. In case number 22-2099, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exists at the property located at 9228 North 56th Street, Code Section 8-102, subsection 13, subsection C. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from Code Enforcement Officer Doug Allen, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that no fine be imposed for the violations of Code Sections 10-3, subsection B, 8-166, subsection 1, subsection C, and lastly, 8-166, subsection 8, subsection A. I further move that the remaining violation be corrected on or before August 10th, 2022. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continues past the date set for compliance. Upon considering the following factors: the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine be $25 per day.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
A second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. And just so you guys understand why I was being so nitpicky about it is if for some reason this ends up being a repeat violation, we got to make sure we have the right code sections and the right case. Okay, moving on. Thank you.
Next case number 222623, City versus VM Pronto LLC for the property located at 201 Deer Park Avenue. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 1034 sanitation, keep premises clean. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Allen. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were both properly served.
Thank you.
Good evening again, Mr. Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case was originated by me on May 16th, 2022 for a pile of tree debris in the front yard. I left a door hanger with a reinspection date of May 26. My reinspection on June 4th showed no change, so I prepared a notice of violation on that date with a reinspection date of June 20th, 2022. I posted the notice at the site as well as at City Hall for the 10-day requirement, and copies were mailed, both certified and regular mail, to the owner of record. My reinspection on June 23rd showed no change, so I prepared a notice of hearing and scheduled the case for the July Municipal Code Board meeting. I've had no contact with the property owner or their representative. This time I'd like to submit photographic evidence taken by me on June 4th and June 23rd, 2022.
We'll accept that, thank you.
Exhibit number 1 shows the notice of violation posting. Exhibit number 2 shows the tree debris in the yard. At this time, the site is in compliance and I'm seeking a finding.
Good, thank you. Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll do it.
Thank you.
In case number 22-2623, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code did exist on the property located at 201 Deer Park Avenue, with the applicable code sections 10-34. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, next case, please. Been busy, Doug.
You're on a roll.
Case number 222988, City versus Joseph and Angelina Lumia for the property located at 8725 Coral Don Court. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 103B, sanitation grass weeds, Section 1034, sanitation keep premises clean, Section 810213H, windows and exterior doors, maintain in good repair, Section 12901, pools, duty to maintain. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Allen. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were both properly served.
Good evening again, Mr. Chairman and board members. I am still Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case was originated by me on June 3rd, 2022 for overgrown conditions, trash and debris on site, damaged window and sliding glass door, and a pool in an unsanitary condition. I left several door hangers with a reinspection date of June 13th. My reinspection on June 13th showed no change, so a notice of violation was prepared on that date with a reinspection date of June 20th, 2022. I posted the notice at the site as well as at City Hall for the 10-day requirement, and copies were mailed, both certified and regular mail, to the address of the owner of record. My reinspection on June 23rd showed no change, so a notice of hearing was prepared on that date, and the case was scheduled for the July Municipal Code Board meeting. I'd like to submit photographic evidence taken by me on June 13th and June 23rd, 2022.
We'll accept that, thank you.
I've had quite a bit of communication with the property owner who does live out of state and is in the process of obtaining a divorce from his wife who did live at the residence, and it is his plan to bring the site into full compliance. Exhibit number 1 shows the notice of violation posting. Exhibit number 2 shows the debris on site. Exhibit number 4 shows the damaged window. Number 3 shows the damaged window. Exhibit number 4 shows the green pool. As the site is not in compliance, I'm seeking a ruling.
Thank you. Any other questions for the code officer? Yes.
Yeah, so did the owner so the house is not occupied, basically?
Right.
And the owner indicate any timetable on when they plan on
I
getting?
told him he had 30 days typically, that usually the board would give a 30-day period, and then anything after that, if he wasn't able to bring the site into full compliance, that we just have to address, whatever issues or seek an extension or whatever may be necessary within, at the end of 30 days. But he does say he lives in upstate New York, and he does have a friend or someone who lives somewhat nearby and was going to go by and get the grass mowed on a regular basis, I think starting this weekend, and start doing some minor repairs to the odd and
Share
things.
the pictures of the windows with him?
He actually was in town about a week or 10 days ago and visited the site and did board up the window and tried to make some at least minor repairs.
He's aware of what needs to be done.
Yes, sir.
Very good.
And the pool is dirty, but it's not, it's safe, it's not accessible.
Right.
It's fenced or whatever.
It's got a fence around it and does have a pool cage as well.
And the extra debris I saw, it looked like there was a garbage can next to it
There's
also.
an overflowing garbage can and some other odd and end material dumped next to the garbage can.
So I guess it could be
Basically just
put in the,
pulled out to the curb probably and then refilled at the next garbage dump.
Do we know if he has an active trash account?
I'll have to check into that. Well, yes, he does, because there was an outstanding balance from his ex-wife that he paid last week.
Yikes. Okay.
okay, thanks, that's all.
You had a question?
Yeah, so was any of this taken care of yet?
No.
Well, why not? It looked like something simple would be if his friends nearby.
Well, his friend is gonna cut the grass cut this weekend. Getting the windows replaced or repaired and the sliding glass door replaced, and then getting the pool. I told him he's gonna have to check with the pool to see if there's an issue with the pump or the filter. Since it's only partially filled, I'm assuming that there was some mechanical issue there that was keeping them from running the system. So I told him he just needed to contact a pool company and have them come out and figure out what's the best route to fix it.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Thank you.
Okay. In case number 22-2988, I move that the city has proven by greater weight of the evidence of the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exists on the property located at 8725 Coral Don Court. And the violation of sections 10-3B, 10-34, 8-102, 13H, and 12-901. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the Code Enforcement Officer Doug Allen, along with other evidence, including photos, affidavits, the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that said violation be corrected on or before our next meeting, which would be August the 10th, 2022. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violations continue past the date set for compliance. Upon considering the following factors of the gravity of the violation, any actions taken, and any previous violations, I move that the fine be $25 per day.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I, with all of the violations he has, I think that $25 is, I think it should be a little bit higher since he does have 3 or 4 different violations as opposed to just one.
I would have done $25 a day per violation. That's, had I done it.
I mean, we're still gonna give him 30 days to comply.
Or tell us what's going on.
Or tell us what's going on, exactly. And if he comes back and maybe some of it's done, then we can give another 30 days to finish the rest. But I think that
Well-
to make him,
I was just
Understand we're
thinking that
serious.
he's in New York, is in a divorce and kind of messy, but I can change my
It's,
motion.
Well, what's your he said $25 per violation. What was your suggestion?
I was just thinking $50 a day, just to
Yeah.
make him understand that it's serious
Yeah,
and,
50.
or if 25, either way, I'm not opposed. I just think 25 is,
I would go with
Not
50
enough.
just because he's out of state. He is
I mean, it's not that I didn't think about it, okay?
just,
I'm really good with numbers, but
That's why we're here.
yours is fine. Let's go with that.
Okay.
okay.
All right, so, who seconded the motion?
I did.
You did. Okay, so
Yeah.
if you're willing to amend, you'll have to second the amendment.
I have to do it all over again?
No, all you have to do is say that you amended to.
So I move that the fine be $50 per day.
We have an amended motion, then we need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm opposed.
Motion.
I'm just kidding.
Nope.
Just kidding.
Okay, so no opposition, motion carries. Next case, please.
Case number 223009, City versus Willie Malvu Dent for the property located at 314 Springdale Place. The case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 10.3B, sanitation grass weeds. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Silva. City has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were both properly served.
Good evening again. Jose Silva, Code Compliance Officer. This case originated proactively June 6, 2022. My inspection noted the front yard grass to be overgrown. The residence was vacant, so a door hanger was mailed to the owner with a compliance date of June 13, 2022. My inspection on June 13, 2022 revealed no chain, so a notice of violation was completed with a compliance date of June 20, 2022. Posted a notice at the home as well as City Hall. Mail copies both certified and regular mail to the address of the registered owner. My inspection on June 24, 2022 revealed the yard grass to still be overgrown. This time I'd like to submit photographic evidence of the notice posted at the door and the overgrown yard grass.
We'll accept that, thank you.
As of today's date, the property is in compliance. I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance. I'm seeking a finding.
We'll accept that, thank you. Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I got this one.
Thank you.
In case number 223009, I move the city has proven by a greater weight of evidence of the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code did exist on the property located at 314 Springdale Place. The applicable code section is 10-3 subsection B. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from code enforcement officers, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and a notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, the motion carries. Next case, please.
Case number 223101, City versus William, Elizabeth, and Maria D. Arbeles and Sonia A. Johnson for the property located at 6108 Liberty Avenue. Cases before the board based on alleged violation of Section 22148, right of entry. Cases will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Director Baroni. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing are both properly served.
Good evening, Tom Baroni, Code Compliance. This case this evening originated from an email that I received from Utility Building Supervisor on June 9th, 2022, of an inaccessible water meter that has not been read in the last 6 months. The water meter is located in the rear yard, and the gate has been blocked by paver bricks. That same day, I went to the property and issued a door hanger with a compliance date of June 14th, 2022. And I had a dialogue with the gentleman that left earlier about the conversation of obstructing the fence gate to not allow city employees to the rear yard. On June 17th, 2022, I received an email from the supervisor stating that the gate was still blocked, which prompted me to generate a notice of violation on June 21st, 2022, with the compliance date of June 23rd, 2022. The notice letters was posted at the front door on June 21st, 2022, with the copies have been sent out certified in first-class mail, and I also request a copy be put at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. On June 24th, 2022, Customer Service Supervisor did confirm that the gate was still blocked by the bricks. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence that was taken by me, actually was taken by Customer Service Reader Zachary Mitchell on June 24th, 2022.
We'll accept that, thank you.
Exhibit number 1 shows the paver bricks obstructing the wood gate that was taken on June 24th. And I also gave you a screenshot, exhibit number 2, showing the customer service email that generated the case that I received on June 9th.
Any questions for the code officer?
So as of today's date, I received a notification from customer service that the city water meter was able to be read and city gained access to the rear yard. Therefore, the property is in compliance. I would like to submit an affidavit of compliance.
Very good, thank you.
I'm just curious, is that normal to go 6 months without, like, I would have thought,
I really, honestly, I can't answer that question because I don't know the answer. I just don't want to make but it seems like a long time, yes, but
Is it one of those, is it an old meter, or is it?
it's an old meter.
An old meter?
Right.
I thought they were all replaced.
Apparently
No.
not.
I know nobody's ever come to read my meter.
Well, it must be in the front yard?
It is,
Okay.
but it's covered by turf, so I know nobody's come to read it.
You probably had that one that's automatic. They just
Yeah,
drive down the
right,
street.
yeah.
They just drive down the street.
Right, yeah, I thought they were all like that, but not.
No, no,
Okay,
Apparently not.
yes.
all right,
I have City of Tampa water, so they come to check mine.
awesome.
Yeah, but there is a program in the city that ultimately, the goal is to replace all the old meters with new meters, that all they have to do is drive by, so.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
All right, I'll do it. All right. In case number 22-3101, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace City Code did exist at the property located at 6108 Liberty Avenue. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from Code Enforcement Director Tom Baroni, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violation was brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
We have a motion, do I have a second? Motion and a second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. Next case, please.
Case number 223213, City versus Alvira L. Machado for the property located at 12609 North 52nd Street. Case is before the board based on alleged violation of Section 12860 and operative vehicle outdoor storage equipment. Case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Lori Smith. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were both properly served.
Evening again, Mr. Chairman, board members, Lori Smith, Code Compliance. This case originated proactively on June the 14th, 2022. My inspection revealed two inoperative vehicles parked on the driveway. At that time, I left a door hanger with a compliance date of the 16th of June, 2022. My inspection on June 17th, 2022 revealed no change. Therefore, a notice of violation was prepared with a compliance date of the 22nd of June, 2022. No one was at home, so I did post the notice letter at the front door, requested copies be mailed certified and first class to the owner of record. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violations taken by me on June 17th, 22nd, 24th, and 27th.
Accept that, thank you.
Exhibit number 1 shows a notice letter posted at the front door. Exhibit number 2 shows the inoperative vehicle on jacks. Exhibit number 3 shows the inoperative vehicle with parts removed. Exhibit number 4 shows inoperative vehicle on jacks with parts removed. Exhibit 5 shows inoperative vehicle with no tag on the driveway. As of today's date, the site is now in compliance, and at this time, I would like to submit an affidavit of compliance, and I'm just looking for a finding.
Good, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll do it.
Thank you.
In case number 223213, I move that the city has proven by greater weight of the evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace did exist on property located at 110 Oleander Drive.
No, wrong
Oh,
case.
sorry.
12609 North 52nd Street.
That's right. So, located at address 12.
Why don't you start over?
Sure.
Thank you.
In case number 223213, I move the city has proven by greater weight of the evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace Code did exist on the property located at 12609 North 52nd Street, applicable code section 12-860. This motion is based on a sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavit, and notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of this record of this hearing. I further move that there will be no fine imposed because the violation were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays, motion carries. That completes our new business on the unfinished business and prior cases.
Okay.
And there's a bunch.
Yes. Case number 212827, City versus Robert Lawrence for the property located at 8610 Oleander Drive. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Officer Smith for Section 828A1 dated July 13th, 2022. Case number 213530, City versus Rima Nihad Ramuni and Mohammed in Thabata for the property located at 8022 Terrace Ridge Drive. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Officer Smith for Section 810213C dated June 9th, 2022. Case number 21-6827, City versus Patricia Jones Lewis and Dewan Dane Lewis for the property located at 810 Ben Lamont Drive. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Officer Allen for Section 828A1 dated June 6, 2022. Case number 21-7044, City versus Mutaz Marzouk for the property located at 7545 Terrace Ridge Drive. The deadline for compliance is on August 10th, 2022. Case number 22-313, City versus Tanger Terrace LLC for the property located at 12318 North 53rd Street. Deadline for compliance is on August 10th, 2022. Case number 22-462, City versus Jorge Rosario for the property located at 9620 North 55th Street. Deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. Case number 22-0748, City versus Tanger Terrace for the property located at 12308 North 53rd Street. Deadline for compliance is on August 10th, 2022. Case number 22-0749, City versus Tanger Terrace for the property located at 12310 North 53rd Street. Deadline for compliance is on August 10th, 2022. Case number 22-0784, City versus Tanger Terrace for the property located at 12316 North 53rd Street. Deadline for compliance is on August 10th, 2022. Case number 22-0953, City versus Tobias and Renee Gluck for the property located at 10608 North 52nd Street. Deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. Case number 22-1492, City versus JR Premier Properties for the property located at 608 Courtney Drive. Deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. An affidavit of compliance was submitted for Section 103B by Officer Silva dated June 27th, 2022. That is partial compliance. Case number 22-1989, City versus Estate of Antonio Andux for the property located at 512 Caroline Street. Deadline for compliance is tonight at midnight. Case number 22-5294, City versus Ron Mogerman TT Holdings LLC for the property located at 12909 North 56th Street. Deadline for compliance was on June 15th, 2022. An affidavit of non-compliance was submitted by Fire Inspector Cletus Squires for Section 856A and 856 dated June 16th, 2022.
Very good, thank you. Did that without taking another breath. Amazing. All right, next is other board action, the quarterly lien review. Do you want to take a break?
I can
Got it? Okay.
Yeah.
Power through it.
So we have one case in compliance, and that's case number 21-6402, City versus True Capital Group LLC, 105 Deer Park Avenue.
You want to take
So that's in compliance.
which one is that? What's the case number again?
Towards the end, 6402.
Okay, that's the only one that's in compliance.
Yes, only one. The rest are continuing non-compliance, so I'll just read them into the record.
Okay.
Case number 080292, City versus Christopher B. York, 7604 Lien Avenue. Case number 172746, City versus James Stevens Johnson and Glenda Johnson, 104 Holland Avenue. Case number 194940, City versus Robert and Lisa McNeil, 9406 Hidden Ridge Place. Case number 21531, City versus Vincent R. and Cynthia Adkins, 5513 Temple Heights Road. Case number 21604, City versus Anthony and Jillian Moore, 941 River Hills Avenue. Case number 210786, City versus James and Joyce Evans, 11305 East Queensway Drive. Case number 211177, City versus Nicholas Drew Teeling and Rachel Teeling, 716 Druid Hills Road. Case number 213797, City versus John Ziegler, 306 South Burlingame Avenue. Case number 214324, City versus JR Premier Properties, LLC, 608 Courtney Drive. Case number 216306, City versus Nihad Darwish, 6319 East 113th Avenue. Case number 216307 Alberto Barbon, 5415 Rainbow Drive. Case number 216926 Khalil Abu Ahmad, 11901 North 53rd Street. Case number 22203 Ron Mogerman, TT Holdings, LLC, 12909 North 56th Street. Case number 221067 Rachel and Nicholas Drew Teeling, 716 Druid Hills Road.
Very good. Any new business? I just would like to once again commend you guys for all the cases you have brought into compliance. And extend my sympathies for having to do all this in this weather. It's hot out. Any other new business? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Is second?
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No nays? We are adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.